Alright, hello everybody. My name is Paul and this is Jay. And today we'd like to talk to you about the Federal Reserve and money and what actually money is. Do people even know what money is these days?
I mean, the difference between money and currency.
It's a big difference.
A lot of people always say, how much money did you make today? And it's like, not really so much how much money I made. It's how much currency I made.
True, absolutely. And also, you know, the people who issue the currency, there's a big issue with these people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They basically control the entire country. And the
Not
currency
only
that we're talking about is this right here. It's known as the American dollar. This is a $20 bill. But if you look at it closely, it has what appears to be the Twin Towers up in flames here. And if you flip it around, oh my goodness, is that the Pentagon? Are you kidding me? Well, a lot of people would chalk that up to just plain old coincidence. But I don't know. What are the odds?
Yeah. And when we get into this, the Federal Reserve, just to get this point across, is neither federal nor reserve. The reserve isn't there for our national debt, which is currently like $15.8 trillion.
And counting.
They don't have that in gold, people. Basically, it was only passed by Woodrow Wilson as a way for private banks to get their hands on America's assets. And boy, did they do a good job at that, which was in 1913. And before that, Thomas Jefferson had a hell of a quote that I'm going to read for you guys.
I love this quote.
This is unbelievable. He said, and that was such a while ago.
Such a long time ago.
And it's still so modern day.
It hits hard today.
And it goes, I believe that banking institutions are more dangerous to our liberties than standing armies. If the American people ever allow private banks to control the issue of their currency, first by inflation, then by deflation, the banks and corporations that will grow up around, and then in parentheses, the banks, will deprive the people of all their property until their children wake up homeless on the continent their fathers conquered. The issuing power should be taken from the banks and restored to the people to whom it properly belongs.
And man,
End quote.
Is that true today?
Holy smokes. It's unbelievable because right now, Bernanke, the head chair of the Federal Reserve, isn't technically printing money off the press. He's borrowing money into debt. That's basically what they're doing. And the reason why they're able to get away with it by saying printing money out of thin air is because in the U.S. Constitution it says all legal tender needs to be backed by something tangible. Gold, silver, something of that nature. But that no longer is from the 70s.
Unconstitutional.
But they can get away with it because it doesn't have to do with the U.S. Constitution because the Federal Reserve is private banking. Privately owned. You can go to Google, you can go to any search engine you want and type in who's the owners of the Federal Reserve. They don't have to disclose who it is. I mean, you could take some pokes, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan. You could take pokes like that.
You're probably right. No matter which family.
But they don't have to disclose that. I mean, for this country to go on, you really have to take the root of the problem, which is the Federal Reserve, and strip them and say, you know what, enough is enough. You have overnight destroyed and devalued our currency that was once backed by gold. Mm-hmm. And no longer since the 70s, absolutely not. Our national debt just got too high.
Absolutely.
Couldn't sustain itself anymore. And to go back to that, what's the difference between currency and something tangible, something as money? I have invested myself into silver, ounce troys, 0.99% pure, and this would be what would be the money, and that would be the currency.
You know, when our currency was first issued, this $20 bill here was meant to buy well, not even buy, it was to trade in and get an ounce of gold. And this same $20 bill was meant to trade in and get 20 ounces of silver. I mean, my goodness, that's some serious,
If I
serious
went
inflation.
to if I went to KeyBank and said, "Hey, I have a $20 bill here. Could I get $20 worth of gold?" A, they would look at you and laugh, and B, you'd probably walk out with honestly a hair worth of gold, because gold's traded at around $1,500, $50, somewhere around there is market
Close
value.
to 1,600.
1,600,
It's under
close to there.
16 though.
It's up and down a couple,
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
here and there, but
Right.
but yeah, that's popping, definitely.
Absolutely. You know, silver is a great investment. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever heard about Lindsey Williams, but he some would say prophesy, but it's not prophecy. He claims to know the elites, and he said that the American dollar is going to collapse before the end of 2012, and if you're in this stuff, you better get out now. I mean, you better get out yesterday. I mean, seriously, silver's at a great price. It's undervalued right now just because of the simple fact that it's
completely undervalued.
I mean, if gold's $20, silver's supposed to be $1. If gold's $1,500 like it is right now,
Yeah.
silver should be about $70.
It's basically 1-to-20 ratio, and
Right.
now you're at historical gaps of ratio from gold to silver. Gold's taken off, silver's pretty much staying on par. So silver has to catch up inevitably.
Well, the markets are being manipulated.
And that's another problem.
There's no
too.
question
Well,
about it. There's many reasons, I mean, that I would personally recommend to invest in silver. They say that there's more gold on this planet than there is silver.
If you were to take the amount of silver, and with our population of approximately 7 billion people, each person, when you look at an ounce of silver, would have a 14th ounce of silver they'd be able to own if you were to spread it all up into a pie. And it's a good time to invest in something like gold and silver, because right now, nationally, we're at $15.8 trillion in debt. By the time the election comes up, November, December time, will be at about $16.3 trillion. Our GDP for our country, gross domestic product on the year, is about 14.5. Around there is our valued current actual GDP of what our country's worth. We're already exceeding that. We're talking Europe levels, like Greece, 128% GDP. They're over in debt, flooded. By that time, you're at 16.3 trillion by around November, December time. And then you're looking at, for the next fiscal year, they have to raise it probably another 2.5 trillion. I mean, that's just how fast compound interest on your debt is just mounting. It's unbelievable.
It truly is. I mean, you can either call it making it rain legally, or you can call it quantitative easing.
Another awesome fact was that when Obama took office with roughly $7 trillion in debt, for the way our actual banking system works in the Federal Reserve, he has to leave office roughly double in debt. And isn't it ironic that we're roughly, what, double in debt? It's a simple mathematic game. I mean, I've taken calculus, graduated with my bachelor's in geology. I have my prereqs to go to basically grad school for structural geology. I've taken a year of chemistry, a year of physics. And this just is so mind-boggling to me, that how simplistic the Federal Reserve is running this world. It's unbelievable. But then I thought about it, and I'm like, as you wake up to this, if it's that easy, why is it still happening, you know? But the more and more people are catching on, now it's like, uh-oh, there is going to be an economic crisis. Because everybody's starting to wake up, I hope, and wake up and finally end this system. Because this is not working. A fiat currency is not working.
It was never meant to work.
No,
I mean,
and that's what's even more ridiculous about it, is that it's purposely supposed to crash.
Right. The main objective of the Federal Reserve was to get your real money out of your pockets and into their pockets, and then poof, vamoose, it's gone.
Because the elite stay in power, they conquer, they devalue, and then they're on to the next thing. Because I guarantee you, the elite, that's after they crash the Federal Reserve, they're still going to be in power, and they'll probably come up with another type of currency that's backed by gold. And China's doing it smart because they're dumping dollars and they're buying up real assets.
All right. And then when that currency is backed by gold, you better believe it's going to be probably about triple in price by then. Gold and silver.
But yeah, I think we pretty much hit this one out pretty good.
Well, I have a couple more things to add before we end this video.
Right.
If you don't think that there is an issue going on right now in America with our currency, I mean, if you just open your eyes, I mean, here's a couple of quick, straight-up facts. I mean, since the Federal Reserve Act was signed in 1913, this stuff right here has lost 98% of its value. And since it was taken off the gold standard, it's lost 89% in that time period. You know what I mean? And if you do some math, I mean, 1913, and we're in 2012 right now, and it's lost 98% of its value. We've got, what, 1-2 years left if it continues, possibly even less if Lindsey Williams is correct. And he has been correct many times before.
He's pretty on the ball.
Yeah,
he is.
He's on the money.
Him, Alex
Jones. He's on the money.
He's on the money. Well, that's not money.
Well, good
He's
call.
on the currency.
I'm still struggling with brainwash.
Him, Alex Jones, Ron Paul, those three right there. Those people are honestly, I'd have to say, people I idolize. They speak the truth.
They do, but you know, Ron Paul's kind of fallen off, but he was the closest thing that we had to a real president that actually cared about us. I mean,
well, there's Kennedy.
Yeah.
He did. And look at what happened to him. He stood up for the people.
And
he was against it.
Or 2 or 3 in his head. You know what I mean?
R.I.P. him.
Yeah, and then you got Abraham Lincoln, who also tried to end private banks.
Sure, tried to. And what happened to him?
Boom. Shot him.
Yeah.
In public. Straight up.
Terrible.
And the same thing for Kennedy.
Yep.
Both of them tried to end private banking. Both of them murdered. Right in front of our faces, and we were lied to about it.
Yeah, but pretty much wraps that up on the Federal Reserve. And next video we're going to have out is going to be on pretty much food,
water, pharmaceuticals. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that.
On pharmaceuticals.
But if you haven't gathered this from the video already, is take this and get this. And that's about it.
That's it. And also, after that video we do on food and water and pharmaceuticals, we're also going to pretty much knock the ball out of the park, and we're going to go for New World Order, which George Bush Sr. was talking about. Because that right there ties together all these little topics into one.
Yeah, we're right now, think of it as...
We're on like the bottom of the pyramid that you see on the dollar bill. The New World Order.
We're not rich enough to be on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But basically, each of these videos, consider it as like a piece of the puzzle that we're putting together, and when they're finally together, you're going to see the big picture, which is the New World Order.
New World Order.
But thank you very much for watching, and subscribe and stay in tune for more.
Absolutely. Have a good one.